Hi everyone, it's Christina from the DIYmommy.com, and today I want to talk to you about the biggest enemy of DIY and how you can overcome it. So I've talked to a lot of people about crafting, decorating, DIYing, and often this same thing comes up when I ask them why they don't want to make something or why they don't even want to try. So I'm going to talk to you about that one thing and a few ways that I think you could overcome that. I want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video today. Skillshare is an online community of thousands of classes you can take to up your DIY game. So you can learn anything from how to watercolor, to how to decorate your home, to how to launch a business if you want to launch a craft business. I'm going to leave a link for you down in the description box below to get 2 free trial months of Skillshare. Check it out and see if it's right for you. It's very inexpensive, less than $10 American a month. So it's a really great way to learn things. I love all of the classes I've taken so far. They're very easy to follow. There's lots of people that do even like workshops and handouts and things. So such a great resource if you want to learn more about DIYing and decorating. So I find that there are a few things that turn people off from trying to make things. So whether it's woodworking, crafting, decorating their home, art, knitting, all that kind of stuff. So some common ones that pop up that I've heard pop up when I talk to people one-on-one, face-to-face, or just chatting with people online on Instagram, here on YouTube. Budget is one of them, and I do try to address that often in my videos. I really try to make DIYs that are budget friendly. Another one that pops up a lot of the time is time. So if you're a mom with young kids like me, you don't have a ton of time. You have maybe 15 minutes here and there, or maybe in the evenings when you can craft. So that's something that pops up too. Also trying to address that here on the channel with some quicker DIYs that you can make in a few minutes or less. Another reason that pops up is lack of knowledge. So just not knowing what to do. That's where something like Skillshare would come in handy, where you can take classes and learn. There's lots of classes that hardware stores will do locally where you can learn tools and stuff like that. And then the one that pops up time and time again, the number one reason that I've heard that people do not want to DIY is fear of failure. You're afraid that when you make a project, it's not going to turn out in the end how you wanted it to in your head or how you've seen someone else do it. So you're scared that not only is it not going to turn out, but it's going to be a complete and utter mess and you're going to have to throw it in the trash. I hear things like this all the time, like, I don't even want to start because it's not worth it, it's not going to turn out. Or, I know that I'm going to fail at this, so why even try? I think a lot of us are even scared to begin. We don't even want to begin to DIY because we're so afraid that it's not even worth it, that it's not going to turn out in the end. So here's the thing, you guys. I have had so many fails in my crafts and my projects and my decorating, too many to count over the years. Also, my style from when I started crafting and decorating to my style now is night and day. It has evolved. I have learned so much over the years. I am still learning. There are still things that I continually wreck or continually fall short on that I'm continually learning. I think that any crafter that looks like they've made it or looks like they know exactly what to do has made so many mistakes in the past in their craft and are still making mistakes and learning today. I think that's something that's really important to realize as you're learning or as you're beginning to DIY and decorate, is that everybody has made mistakes. Everybody has failed. Nobody has just done their first project perfectly the first time. I think failure is a very normal part of any journey, of any sort of career journey, crafting journey, decorating journey, life journey. And I think it's important just to embrace the fact that you are going to fail, but you're going to probably learn something from that, and then the next time you do that thing, you're going to get better. So I want to get into that. So if you are afraid of failure, especially when it comes to decorating and DIYing, which is what I love to do and share with you here on the channel, here are a few different ways that you can conquer that fear of failure. The first thing you can do is to change your goal right from the start. So rather than having a really big, giant craft or decor goal, why don't you narrow that down to something a little bit more attainable, especially if you've never tried this thing before. So for example, instead of saying, I'm going to make a patio chair out of 2x4s today, even though I have never used a miter saw, why don't you change that goal to something like, I'm going to take a miter saw class this weekend at the hardware store. I'm going to learn how to use a miter saw safely and properly and effectively so that sometime within the next year, I'll eventually be able to build a patio chair out of 2x4s. So making your goal a little bit easier to attain, making it more of a learning goal rather than a perfect project end goal is a really great way to help you not fail as quickly and as often. And also every small goal like that you attain is going to be ultimately wonderful for your DIY and decorating journey. The second way that you can conquer fear is know that you are going to encounter obstacles. Just realize even before you start, this is normal. I'm going to encounter some problems. Kind of go over in your head, okay, what's a potential problem I can encounter? What's a way that I could get around it? And just realize that's just part of the journey. So perhaps you don't have quite the right tool. You might have to go and borrow somebody's tool or buy someone's tool. Perhaps the project in the end didn't really turn out how you'd hoped for. So maybe you have to work on it a little bit longer, or maybe take some things off of it, add some things onto it, play with it a little bit. Perhaps you cut something the wrong length, so you have to use some different material or more material, and that is so normal. I encounter that on a day-to-day basis. I often have an idea of a project that I want to do here on the channel in my head. I will start doing it and nope, it's not working. So either I have to kind of evolve that project into something totally different, which sometimes actually those turn out pretty good actually. Sometimes those turn out even better than the original project. Sometimes they don't, or sometimes I just have to start all over again. The third way that you can help yourself not be afraid of failure is to stop comparing yourself to everybody around you. I think in this age of social media, it is so easy. With just a tap of your finger, you can see all of these beautiful projects that people are working on in their home. You can see all of these talented, creative people that are making so many beautiful pieces. And it is so easy, I know, to compare yourself to everybody around you on the internet and in real life. But try to remember that they're on a different journey than you are. Perhaps they have 10 years of experience in that craft or in that field that they don't really talk about that much, so you don't know that off the bat. Or perhaps they've had help with that project that you don't know about. So there's lots of things that we can't see on the internet that are behind the scenes that we need to remember could be the case. So try not to compare yourself to people on the internet, to creative people on the internet. That's their journey. You are on yours, and if you're just beginning a project, you need to start from step 1. Maybe they're on step 20, right? So try not to compare yourself to people, and that's going to help you not be so afraid as well. The fourth and final thing that I would recommend to help you lose your fear of failure is just to enjoy the journey. I think most, if not all, sometimes all, if the project doesn't turn out, of the joy of making something is making it, is using my hands, is that feeling of the paintbrush in my hand, the feeling of the knitting needles in my hand, seeing the stitches come to life while I'm making a sweater, the rhythm of a sewing machine, the rhythm of a paint roller. All of these things are very enjoyable, and I find them often very therapeutic, almost like my little slice of heaven on earth when I'm just in the zone making. And try to realize that that is part of the enjoyment of making things, is the actual making of it, whether it turns out how you want it to or not quite or not at all. Making it and just experiencing all of that comes with making is a joy in itself. And every time you make something, you are learning something. And I think that's also a joy too. Learning as you go and growing as a person and growing in your creative field. So I want to hear from you. Let me know down in those comments below if this is a fear of yours, if this is something that prevents you from DIYing. If the fear of failure doesn't prevent you, is there something else that prevents you from making stuff? Is it budget, time? What is it? I would love to hear from you guys down in the comments below. This is such an interesting topic to me. I find it just so fun to talk about, to see what kind of drives people to make things and what drives them away. I think it's such an interesting topic to explore. Thanks again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. If you want to try out Skillshare free for 2 months, please make sure to click on the link down in the description box below. I would love for you to check that out. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel for more DIY and decor ideas on a budget. I'm going to leave a whole bunch of videos that I hope you will enjoy right up here.